Now at 5, weather impact alert due to the threat of flooding and severe weather. I'll have your forecast.
With more rain expected in the forecast, flooding is becoming a major concern for several communities. We'll show you the status of the White River still ahead.
Teens involved in violence, the problem on the streets of Indianapolis, and the weapons that police say are now being used the most.
And breaking news, another chaotic day on Wall Street. The huge losses as the fallout from President Trump's new tariffs is being felt across the world. Live from Indy, you're watching 13 News.
Tonight at 5, another active radar. We are tracking another system moving through the state, bringing with it rain and the chance for flooding.
And we've been warning you about the potential for flooding for several days now. Look at this. Now we can show you why. As we just take a look at how high the water has risen in Jackson County. That's what we're looking at here. And then all of this put together is the reason that we're designating this a weather impact alert day.
We have team coverage for you tonight on the changing weather. We've got Samantha Johnson to the south. That's where she's checking on the flooding there.
But we want to start with Angela, who's in the weather center. And can you share with us what you're seeing right now, Angela?
Right now we're getting a bit of a break from some of the steadier rain that moved through this afternoon. But I want to start with the flood watch and all of the warnings. All of our area under the flood watch through early Sunday. Most of our major rivers are under flood warnings. They are high and rising with additional rain in the forecast. This is live Doppler 13 radar over the last couple of hours. You can see some of the steadier pockets of rain that moved through now exiting. This is good news. It gives us a chance for some of that water to make its way into the creeks, rivers, and streams. And it's good news if you've got some Friday evening plans. We're going to have a few hours of relatively quiet conditions. It is not quiet down to our south. Back to the southwest, an impressive storm system prompting tornado and severe thunderstorm watches in the warm part of this weather system. That's where we find the severe threat right now. However, some of that warmth will start to lift north along with that threat of severe weather. It does include about I-70 south at a level 2 and then Bedford southwest toward Evansville at a level 3. The tornado threat is much lower than what we had on Wednesday, but it's not zero. You can see it here highlighted in green. We will continue to monitor the radar, but keep in mind you've got a few hours of dry weather before strong to severe storms and heavy rain later tonight.
All right, thank you so much, Angela. Right now, flood waters are already rising in some parts of the state.
Samantha Johnson spent the day to the south near the Seymour area. That's where the river levels are closing in right now on record highs. Sam.
The East Fork of the White River is rushing downstream and out of its banks. High water taking over crop fields across Jackson County. And now Indiana conservation officers are watching closely.
When I got this job, the first thing that people told me is that when it rains, Jackson County floods. And I was talking to another conservation officer who was doing this for 19 years, and he said that this is the highest river he's ever seen, and it's only going to get higher.
Claire Jenkins with Indiana DNR says this happens quickly.
Water is predictable, it is dangerous, and it is fast. And it's even faster under the surface, and that can absolutely take your car out.
The parking lot at Cypress Lake already swallowed up. The woods nearby totally underwater. That's why Indiana DNR has this airboat ready.
This is assigned to Jackson County. Our two officers in Jackson County are both airboat operators.
Jenkins says there are dozens of water rescues each year. This weekend, she says, will be no different.
It is quite a concern, obviously, for all the first responders out there, including us.
Jackson County could see up to 7 more inches of rain this weekend. The White River here is expected to crest Sunday night or early Monday morning. Officers say floodwater will stick around for days.
So prepare yourself now, hunker down, and wait till the water recedes.
In Jackson County, Samantha Johnson, 13 News.
And you know, we say this phrase time and time again. We want to make sure you hear it, you internalize it, and you act on it. turn around, don't drown. Conservation officers say you should not drive through high water, even when you look at it if it doesn't seem like it's too deep. If you do get stuck, call 911 right away and make sure you stay with your vehicle. You have the best chance of survival if you do that.
And we are working to keep you informed of the chance for severe weather with the heavy rain and storms tonight as well as tomorrow into the weekend.
Download WTHR Plus to make sure you can follow along with our live Doppler 13 radar stream, in-depth forecast, and also watch our extended weather team coverage. You can download it on your TV and you can stream it. It is free of charge. Happening right now, a closure downtown along Monument Circle. Metro Police tell us that it is the south side of the circle that is going to be closed in all directions for about another half hour. That's what police are on the scene wrapping up an investigation.
Developing tonight, investigators believe a 19-year-old opened a bedroom window and shot an 18-year-old, killing him. And now that 19-year-old is under arrest.
So this is an update to a shooting that we've been following ever since Wednesday night when it went down. 18-year-old Jaden Godfrey died in that shooting.
His family tells us he was a father of 2 infants and a basketball player at Indianapolis Metropolitan High School. Now, court documents are outlining what led to the shooting. A witness who identified herself as the victim's girlfriend and mother of his 8-month-old child told detectives the suspect opened her bedroom window from the outside and shot Jaden.
Detectives say the suspect told them that Godfrey pointed a gun at him first before he fired. However, the witness said that Godfrey did not have a gun. And when detectives asked the suspect to clarify what he said, the suspect then requested an attorney. Tonight here in Indianapolis, a juvenile in the hospital after a shooting on the northeast side of Indianapolis.
Metro Police tell us the shooting happened just before 3 o'clock this morning near East 46th Street and North Arlington Avenue. Officers did not tell us his condition except to say he was stable.
And they also have yet to release any information about a possible suspect in the case. We'll keep an eye on it.
Well, teenage violence is not the only problem Metro Police officers are dealing with across Indy.
They've also taken dozens of illegal guns and drugs off the streets, and they've made the arrest of dozens more people. Today, our Ashton Hackman talked with a member of the Indiana Crime Guns Task Force about this very busy start to the year.
Just 4 months into the year, the Indiana Crime Guns Task Force says their efforts are reducing crime in the Indy Metro and the surrounding communities.
These are all very targeted investigations into violent criminals who are illegally carrying firearms throughout our city and central Indiana.
Since the start of the year, the task force has seized 115 illegal firearms and 167 machine gun conversion devices, guns used to commit violent crimes in Indianapolis and across the metro. Now, the Crime Guns Task Force says that it's a multi-agency effort to get guns and drugs off of the streets.
Crime doesn't know any boundaries, so these individuals, while they might reside in Indianapolis, doesn't mean they're not committing crimes in Boone County, Hamilton County, Johnson County, Hendricks County, Hancock County.
And it's not just guns. The task force also targeting illegal drugs, confiscating hundreds of grams of fentanyl and over 1,800 grams of meth. Violent crime, the task force says, involving younger criminals and victims.
Juveniles who have these firearms have become more common. Juveniles who have illegal firearms, who have machine gun conversion devices, that has become more of a common problem throughout Indianapolis and central Indiana.
Just this week alone, a juvenile shot Friday morning on Indy's northeast side, an 18-year-old shot and killed Wednesday on the northwest side, and countless more shootings and armed robberies with younger suspects.
Everybody's really quick to pull a firearm now. Juveniles, adults, it doesn't matter. Life has seemed to lost a lot of its value to people, and they resort to pulling a firearm or other weapon out and involving that in something that probably could have been talked out.
In Indianapolis, Ashton Hackman, 13 News.
The work the task force has carried out so far this year has resulted in 75 arrests as well as 6 federal cases.
And tonight, we're learning the death penalty trial for a man accused of killing an Elwood police officer is being pushed back again. The Madison County Prosecutor's Office tells us Carl Boards II will now go on trial in January instead of September. The defense asked for the change because Boards is still being evaluated for an intellectual disability and a possible insanity defense. The prosecutor also wants the trial moved from the County Government Center to Anderson City Court since it can fit more people. Boards is accused of killing Officer Noah Chanovez during a traffic stop in July of 2022.
5:08, and we're following some breaking news right now, just in as we learn of a crash underway in Boone County.
So take a look at this. We have NDOT giving us a camera, and this is a look at the backup from a crash on I-65 South near Lebanon. If you are familiar with the area, we are told this is at mile marker 135, again, near Lebanon.
We are also hearing that someone was seriously hurt in this crash in Boone County. So you want to keep this in mind if you are in that area. Of course, these are in the southbound lanes headed into Indianapolis near the Lebanon area, headed south to Zionsville. Northbound traffic there appearing unaffected at this hour. As we learn more, we'll bring it to you. And now to other breaking news tonight here at 5 o'clock. Today was quite a brutal day on Wall Street, close to the worst week that we've seen on Wall Street since 2020.
The markets plunged for a second straight day as fears of a recession continue to grow following President Trump's new tariffs. Look, here are our latest numbers. The Dow lost more than 2,200 points to close today.
Today is the second day in a row of historic drops on Wall Street. And China happens to be among the very first countries to hit the U.S. with some new retaliatory tariffs. And others like Canada and the U.K. right now are pondering and considering what their move will be.
Yamiche Alcindor shares the fallout being felt around the world.
For the second straight day, the Dow plummeted as nervous investors pulled out of the market and countries began retaliating for President Trump's tariffs. But still, the president's standing firm.
It's going to be a booming country, a very booming country. It's going to be amazing, actually.
Today, China hitting back, imposing its own 34% tariff on all U.S. goods shipped into that country. President Trump responding on social media saying China played it wrong. They panicked. On the flip side, Vietnam. In another post, the president saying the general secretary of that country told him he wants to cut Vietnam's tariff to zero.
Tariffs are highly likely to generate at least a temporary rise in inflation. It's also possible that the effects could be more persistent.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell signaling the central bank won't move on interest rates until it gets a clearer picture of the impact of the tariffs. But how long until that happens? The uncertainty bringing the market down. NBC's Christine Romans reporting from the stock market floor.
They don't know if this is President Trump negotiating with other countries or if these really will be baseline tariffs that stay on.
This all comes as Americans are caught in the middle of this growing trade war.
My wife already has actually started to sort of penny pinch, not overbuy.
Experts say the tariffs could cost the average family at least $3,800 a year, with wages going down for lower income families and prices of everything from shoes to produce going up. And despite all of the fear and the worry, there was a bright spot today. The March jobs report came in at a higher number than expected. Employers added more than 280,000 jobs. Still, the unemployment rate did tick up a bit. Yamiche Alcindor, NBC News, Washington.
Breaking ground.
The new multi-million-dollar project to expand Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Park. It's new at 5:30.
Soggy and stormy as we head into the weekend. I'll cover the threat of severe weather.
No lights, no power, and no idea when it would come back. I'm Alex Almanza. How one Indianapolis family was getting ready to pack it up until the lights flipped back on just in time.
And tracking the path of a tornado.
The distance the twister that hit Brownsburg traveled on Wednesday night.